let's start off with please tell us your name.
Latario Rachal.
All right, Coach. Thank you again for being with us today. It is a pleasure. Do me a favor. I'm gonna just jump right into it. Interested to learn about your journey and what you've done. Just tell us a real quick background. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? And where did this all start?
Carson, California. Grew up in Carson. Started there with Little League football, from flag football, Pop Warner, all at Victoria Park, Carson. Then to Carson High School, and that's where my career started.
Really quick shout out to your Pee Wee football coaches. Who would they be?
Flag football is my dad, Mr. Louis Rochelle, and then Coach Spears, and for Pop Warner, Coach Jackson.
Okay, and going into high school, I'm not too familiar with how that progression goes, right? So I know all the guys that I know, and again, we know some of the same people, right. And you probably play with a lot of those guys. But as far as like Pop Warner, you mentioned Victoria Park. Does it progress like into junior high and then the high school, or do you just cut off from that elementary and then straight up into the high school type thing? Like, how does that work for you?
At that point, it was still all the way up to 9th grade. So at that point, even after junior high school, it was going to be split to what school the kids were going to go to, either Carson or Manning, to play football or just attend school.
Yeah, and are you still like highly involved in those little Pee Wee leagues? That I don't even know if they do have that Victoria Park stuff, but over the years I did see, or I have seen, teams scattered on the field and they play. And also your thoughts about how it was back, I'm gonna say late 80s, early 90s, how it was compared to what is going on all around you that you probably see. Like, just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Right. Not directly involved with a Pop Warner team, but I am involved with training kids on Pop Warner teams, and I have trained kids, whole teams, Pop Warner teams, from Carson to PV, just around. So I am involved in Pop Warner because I love training kids and giving them that information, that hard work ethic at a young age that we didn't get.
And so do you see a lot of the stuff from your experience during that Pop Warner, what you seen back then, is it kind of fluid, meaning like over the years, is it pretty much the same, things different, like how's that, how do you see it in your words with that?
It's different in the fact that way more exposure for these kids. You'll know about a kid's Pop Warner success in a whole other state, and that wasn't happening when we were younger. You would just know locally, if you played against a guy, you were hearing it, but you wouldn't hear about a kid in Florida, Georgia, Texas, or nothing like that. But now it's just, they're online, they're being filmed and all that, so they're being exposed and being shown all around, which is different. And also they have a 7-on-7 aspect that the high school have that we didn't have in Pop Warner, that's actually putting them ahead of the game.
And how do you feel like you're saying that exposure, everybody's into that, especially this era with the social media era and getting more exposure? Is it more helping or is it not helping the kid as well? Because like for me, myself, I would think like there's so many, and then you get those little highlight films, and I always hear like, coach don't want that highlight film, they want that full game. Now, is it hurting or is it more, or is it helping in your opinion?
To me, it's helping. It's not going to hurt a Pop Warner kid. It's just, to me, putting them on the map early at a young age, for them to start, looking for him in high school. But you didn't have that opportunity to know who's going to be the next kid coming up into the high school ranks until they got there. But now you can know because he's been talked about in 10, you 11, you 12, you 13, now you're waiting for, let me see what he does in high school. So that's what's helping them. I don't have nothing against kids being, filmed and being shown. I just think that it's only way it's bad if someone's trying to take advantage of that situation from a kid. But a kid being seen exposed, that's all love.
And just take us back a little bit. So going from those years of Pop Warner, right? Any of your guys you want to mention from going there? And I'm gonna assume they either went with you to Carson High or they dispersed like different high schools, right. And eventually you met him on the gridiron again. Like any of those guys you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to playing all on the same team. Abdul Muhammad played with me at Carson High School, was on my team while I was going to the University of Nebraska. Travis Davis played Pop Warner with me my whole life. Went to Banning High School, won Notre Dame. Sean Parnell played Pop Warner with me. Went to Carson with me, went to University of Arizona. Brian Collins went to Paramount High School, University of Oregon. Leon Neal, Paramount High School, University of Washington. Nakawa Shepherd, Carson High School, University of Fresno State.
And if Coach left somebody out, not that he don't love you guys, but I just asked him out of the blue right there. So anyways, Coach, you got going into Carson High, right? And what always amazed me about Carson, and we talked about this. What always amazed me about Carson is it was full with different ethnicities, different cultures, and I feel that that's what kind of brought in everybody to be just as one. Like, tell me about that experience for you. Seeing the different communities, and then seeing everybody on that field. You know what I mean? And you guys becoming that one team. Like, tell me about that. Yeah, so some of you guys, some of the Usos, some of the brothers that those guys, and some of the Filipino dudes that you had a chance to play with.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best experiences you can have. I always tell the kids, like, man, my team was a melting pot. I mean, we had the brothers, you had the Filipinos, we had the Usos, and it made us a team that nobody could mess with. So we had everything covered, man. It was, just imagine all the pride in all those cultures, you know what I'm saying? And coming together as brothers and never feuding, always loving each other, man. I mean, hanging off and on the field, and we gotta give a lot of credit to our head coach, Coach Gene Bodenagel. He also provided that family atmosphere. He invited to his home after 7-on-7 games, fed us, just stuff like that we didn't know that came with high school football, and it wasn't everywhere, So I would talk to my buddies, even at Banning, they'd never been our coach house. So he brought that atmosphere, to bring us all together. He knew what he had, with all the different ethnicities, what he brought to the team. And it was like that before we got there. It was tradition of having tough Samoans, tough Filipino players, tough brothers, tough white kids. It didn't matter. If you look at old pictures, there were all races on Carson pictures. So it's always been like that. That's what expected. When you got there, you're gonna play with the best players. And once you got there, the best players got on the field, no matter what the race was. So the guys came out there. They came out there and ready to play ball. Was tough. So that was the beauty of it.
And that's beautiful, man. And with all the stuff, I'm not trying to get into political stuff, but all the stuff that happened. I talk with my kids and say, man, I can't understand that. I can't understand what's going on, because the way we grew up, the brothers that we had, don't matter what they were. It was just, we were all just brothers. So Coach, so tell me about that. It was 91, right? 91 is your season. Tell me about that season. What, how was that? What was the experience? Accolades, championships, whatever. Just go ahead and break that down.
And that was a season coming off of losing the year before as juniors. We lost to Dorsey High School our junior year. We just won the year before, our 10th grade year, we beat Manning. So we thought we were going to go, in our high school career, we're going to go 3 championships. We went to 3 and lost 1. So our senior year, I remember that game was over with. And talking to my buddy Abdul Muhammad, a couple of guys were like, man, we're not losing next year. Like, we're going undefeated. We said that right after we lost the game. We were talking about from 7-on-7 to anything. And we took it to heart, and we wanted to be the best team at Carson. You know what I'm saying? And we wanted to do what the other Carson teams didn't do, like beat Bishop Vermont the first game. None of us did that until we did it. We beat Bishop Vermont finally. We didn't go undefeated because we lost our 3rd game of the season, Eisenhower. give it, you know what I'm saying? And that was our fault because we didn't give them no respect, didn't know nothing about them, didn't even really care on watching film or whatever. We just didn't give them no respect, and that was a learned lesson that you got to respect your opponents no matter what. So I'll take that loss as a great learning experience. You know, I told our team we're not losing again. We can't lose again, and we didn't lose again all the way to the championship. And matched up with our brothers, Banning, with who we beat earlier in the year in a blowout, and we knew it was going to be hard to beat them again in the championship, and it was. It was a battle at El Camino College, and we wound up pulling it out 37-15. It was a great game, but it was to cap our career, and actually it was our head coach's Gene Bowden. It was last year. So it was a lot of pressure on us the whole year that we had to win this game. We had to send him out on top. So it was we stepped up to the pressure, accepted the pressure, and finished it. You know, even though it was a pressure game down at halftime, pulled it out. They didn't score again after halftime, so it was how it went was perfect. We just blew them out. That wouldn't have put the suspense in the game. But the fact that we were down at halftime and we haven't been down at halftime. Even the only game we lost, we were up at halftime, so we'd never been down at halftime to be down. Watch our coach react and how he reacted to us. And the first time he got in our tail, you know, and we didn't like how he felt, not how he was acting. We didn't like how he felt, how we made him feel. We were like, gotta do something about this. So gotta get coach back to being cool and relaxed and knowing this boy's gonna take care of business, and we did.
Yeah, I remember that season. That was a magical season for you guys, and I remember going to give a shout out to my guy, Mao Nico.
Man, that dude was the best.
Yeah, man.
Lineman, kickoff coverage, man.
Yeah, so yeah, he's one of my brothers too. So you know, I went often to your games, and I remember that game as well. So great job and congratulations again on that '91 season. So after high school, tell us a little bit about that path there and what your decisions were to go to the next one.
So after high school, getting recruited by everybody, and the SAT, you know, I let that deter me, and when I did get it right, I let my GPA mess me up. So now it's like, what I'm gonna do next. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of sunk into myself and try to feel sorry for myself. And I was getting calls still from a lot of universities, like, we want you. And all I had to do was go to summer school and finish one class, but not getting the right information, no one informed me I didn't do it. So I just sat out and waited, and to the point where I had to go to junior college. So now I had to go to junior college. Didn't want to go, but I was getting, you know, press from, calling my godfather, Coach John Featherstone, sending messages, come out, I want you. And he actually came to the Lions game, All-Star game, high school All-Star game.
And I'm sorry, break down with the Lions game, is that north and south?
Yes, South Bay All-Star game with all the South Bay high schools from Torrance, West Torrance, Banning, Carson, Lusinger, all those Hartline, all those South Bay schools.
Did you guys play against like the San Diego teams?
We used to do the San Diego All-Star game, but it ended my junior year, so we didn't get to do our senior year. We were looking forward to that. We were like, man, I can't wait to play the San Diego All-Star game.
Okay, I'm sorry, continue, Coach. You're talking about the Lions game.
Yeah, so Coach Featherstone came actually to our practice, and I got to meet him in person for the first time, and just his energy and his fireness. I'm like, this is the head coach. And I'm like, I could play for him. I was like, okay, I'll see after this All-Star game. I'll make my decision. So after the All-Star game, I told him I'll come. And they already been practicing, so I went out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what school is it?
El Camino College. I'm sorry, El Camino College, yeah. So I actually get there with 2 weeks. I'm knowing some of the offense, but not a whole offense. It's just really playing off skill. And the whole time, you know, Featherstone telling me you're going to start the first game. So no matter what, learn as many plays as you can, but you're going to start the first game. So that was my journey to junior college. started the first game and ran a punt back in the first game and just kind of had fun with it, you know. And I'll be honest, I didn't want to be there first in the junior college, but once I got with that team and played in that first game, I was like, this is some good football. And it was a tough game. We lost that game, actually. It's a pretty good team, and introduced me to junior college football was for real. And there were some real dudes out there. There were some men, there was people younger than me, older than me, 24 years old. So it was actually a great experience and a great catapult for me to go to the next level, because it actually gave me time to mature in the classroom and as a player, and with no pressure to try to play as a freshman right away at Division I, which I would have wanted to do, but not knowing if I would have been ready. So, but that actually prepared me those 2 years at junior college. I was a freshman All-American and a sophomore All-American, and it gave me the opportunity to become a better student. Left with my AA degree and got a scholarship to Fresno State. I accepted over everybody recruited me all over again. I had from LSU to Michigan State. I mean, you could think of it, but I just wanted to stay closer to home for my mom.
Yeah.
I had USC, that was too close to home. I wanted to go to UCLA, it was my dream school.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Coach, two things. Since when you were mentioning that, your position, your natural position that you played at Carson.
Oh, wide receiver.
Wide receiver. So one thing you did mention, when you got to Elko, you said you had that feeling like, man, you know, I don't really want to be here. Is it you can speak on that? Like, what was that feeling? And why do you think that feeling was that?
Because I didn't think I belonged there. So, talent-wise. So my thing was, when people didn't know what they didn't know, I was an angry player in junior college because I was upset that I had to go to junior college. So I just took it out on teammates, whoever I came across. So teammates will tell you to this day, if they have to cover me or play against me in practice, it was hell every play because they didn't know why, but they appreciated it. They said that it made them better, but I wanted to show everybody I didn't belong here. I didn't want to look like I belong there. So I wanted to stand out and get out of there. And
Okay.
that was what fueled me.
Yeah.
And
that was that motivation with that.
Yeah,
so going back to that, you did say it was a beautiful experience for you.
Oh man.
Right? So it was a beautiful experience, great experience for you. So like looking back now, right? Like, can you tell me what was that value? What was that value to help you mold yourself to the person you are today, and also your experience after Elko?
Oh man, it was some of my best friends to this day, are from those times at El Camino. And it was crazy. It was like being on the Lions game team again, because those guys that I played with on that team were on the opposite team, that went to those other South Bay schools that wind up coming to El Camino. So to see them, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be pretty good. That guy was this, I can go back and look in the paper or an award list and see us all on there like, oh, he was a good lineman, or he was a good linebacker. So that was awesome, but not knowing how good the friendships were going to be. Like you said, it was all ethnicities again, and now different areas. Not that we're all go to the same high school together. We're coming from different high schools to one school, and then now that has me spending the night in Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach. I'm everywhere. I'm just, like I said, some of my best friends now to this day.
So socially, that was one of your best experiences, and you still got that brotherhood. What about your learning as a student of the game of football and your coaches and like you said, your academics and stuff? How did that help you out being there at that level of your college?
Just to have coaches that were teachers, professors, even the head coach, health teacher, offensive lineman coach, health teacher, running back coach, math teacher, and I was in some of their classes, so they took it very serious. So it wasn't just talk when they recruited you about academics. They were actually professors. So it's like, wow, to get that care, that push, and that belief in it. They were really on you about going to class and making sure you went to class and if you were in their class and you didn't come to class, you came to practice, you can't practice. That didn't make sense, and it did make sense to us. So, I mean, it was an awesome experience. I don't know if I'd have got that at any other junior college if the coaches, if that many coaches would have been professors. You know what I'm saying? At the same time,
especially who cared.
Yeah, who cared.
The team.
Yes, everybody cared. And then our counselor, Miss Jeffries, man, she's like a mother. She was just like a mother to us. And we didn't know it was her first year there, my first year there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so she actually, and from that point, I mean, she's still there. But she just took me under her wing and everybody under her wing. And I've never been in a counselor office so much. It's about classes and checking your grades and making sure this and that, and your transcripts are right and this. Oh man, she was on it, and it became cool to be in her office.
Yeah.
You know, it was like to care about that stuff, and she made sure that. And
I mean, because you as a student athlete, it's hard enough, right, to navigate through football maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Getting your academics, then you got to know which classes you really need to take, and this counselor, which I love counselors.
Oh, man, awesome.
They've guided me my whole life.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So tell me, Coach. So after this experience, with the junior college experience, where did that take you? What was your decision?
Now this is the real beauty of the junior college experience. From my success, it actually gave me the opportunity to play CFL or go to Division I. So Vegas had a team. They were called the Vegas Posse. They had it for 1 year. They talked to Merrick Vanover from Florida State because he was too young to leave for the NFL draft after his freshman year. So this league, Canada, they didn't care, and this Vegas team was actually their first year, so they got him to come out and leave early and sign with them. So he signed with them, so that was their bait for me. Like, we signed Tamarick Vanover. He was the best punt returner, such and such. NCAA was. He was actually great. And it had me leaning, but in my head, I'm like, he played at Florida State. I only played at El Camino. I'm like, I want to play Division I. I don't want to go straight to the NFL or professional ball without ever playing Division I football. That was in my mind. So it actually came to my home with a check with my name on it, everything, and trying to convince me that was the better decision for me. And if that didn't work out, I could just go straight to the NFL. And I'm thinking, I don't think I'm ready. And I had to talk with my brothers, and I don't know why, they were just like, take the money. You can always go back to school. And I'm glad I didn't feel that. And I thought they were going to say, nah, go to college. And when they didn't say that, but I wanted to hear that, I went with what I wanted to hear. And I told them, no, I at least want to, if I'm that good to play pro right now, then I'll be that good and I'll be able to make it. I should be able to make it, but I do at least want to play Division I football. And then the crazy part about it is that team folded after that year. They didn't even finish the whole league season. They weren't even paying all their players on a CFL team that folded. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think I made the better decision not to just chase what looked like some quick money and not finish my education. And my Fresno State experience was awesome.
So instead of CFL, you decided to go to Fresno State.
Fresno State.
Big difference, big jump from El Camino to that level of
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Because now it was, receiver-wise, it was me. Like, everyone was like me. So it wasn't like I was the only standout. So everybody had All-American high school or All-American junior college, so the linemen, receivers, quarterbacks. So it was like, now who's gonna stand out to play and start? So it was the same situation. And they'll tell, even those guys there were like, yeah, this is not junior college. I'm like, okay, I know, but it's football, so like, let's go, let's see what it's about then, which I love. A challenge is a challenge, so I'm not the biggest dude, so I always feel like I go hard, I gotta go hard no matter what, because somebody can always doubt me, so I'm always gonna let them know. So it was great to excel on that stage, even with the time that I had, because I didn't get a spring ball. I got there in summer, so
yeah.
I didn't understand that till after that year and then got spring ball. I was like, wow, that would have put me way ahead instead of learning the offense while the season's going, you know. So it worked out cool. Didn't play my senior year because I tore my ACL after spring ball. So that's what catapulted everything to coaching and going professional. Yeah, man. After tearing my ACL and coming back to El Camino, just down and like, wow, I gotta have this surgery, and it's not for sure how I'm gonna recover. You know, I have family members asking me, "Are you gonna be able to play again? Are you gonna play again?" And I'm like, wow, this is for real. So blessed with my trainers at El Camino to want to do the rehab. They were like, if you let the hospital to do your surgery rehab you, they're just gonna rehab you back to be able to walk. They're not gonna rehab you back like an athlete. So we're gonna rehab you back to come back faster or stronger than what you were. So it's like, that sounds awesome. I'll roll with it. Had the surgery, got the rehab, and man, they weren't lying. I was actually running full speed in like 3 months. No change of direction yet, but just running straight ahead. So they gave me a lot of, you know, hope and like, man. So then once I got in the pool, that just changed the whole game for me to be able to do more outdoor on the field. So once I'm back running, somewhat, since I'm there, Coach Federson was like, you might as well help me coach. So this is my first time coaching. Might as well coach since you're here. And I'm gonna hook you up with and get you back to another college. And I'm like, great. And at this time, you couldn't go from a Division I to a Division I. So if you're gonna transfer from Division I to really play, you had to go down. So I was gonna go to Wayne State, Nebraska. Already had that all set up. Like I said, I'm coaching with Coach while I'm rehabbing, and then while I'm rehabbing, while I'm getting healthy, I started doing a couple of scout plays against the receivers. Against the defensive backs, and I'm just torturing them because I'm feeling myself back. I'm feeling myself actually better than and stronger than what I was, you know. And I'm like, wow, because actually the rehab was like training that I never did for my body and my legs. So it was like actually a blessing in disguise. So after a couple of weeks, Coach kept saying, man, I'll make some calls. So I'm thinking maybe he's talking about another college. And the whole time he's talking about professional teams. And then when one particular day, pulls me in, we're in the weight room, he pulls me in, like, man, let's go to the office. So we go in the office, he's on the phone, and he's just on the phone. I'm in the office, just sitting in a chair like this, just sitting there, spinning around looking at pictures and stuff. And he's on the phone. Once he gets off, he's like, congratulations, you're a San Diego Charger. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that was the general manager. That was Bobby Bether, who's actually one of my best friends. Grew up in Torrance, grew up on the same street, went to El Camino. I'm just hearing all this, never told me this stuff until this time. I'm like, wow. He's like, he knows who you are. He's seen you play. He's like, so they're going to allocate you and send you to NFL Europe. I'm like, all this that quick. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, they're going to send you to NFL Europe. You're going to Amsterdam, but you're going to be allocated by the Chargers. I'm like, okay. So you make that team. Once that season's over with, you'll come to the Chargers training camp and play for the Chargers. I'm like, and I'm getting sent to Europe first to play in Amsterdam? I'm like, yes. I'm like, wow, thank you. And they was like, but if you don't make that team, that contract with the Chargers is voided. So that means you wasn't good enough. And I'm like, okay, cool. I gotta make a team. It's off my talent. I'm like, I'm with that. I've never not made a team. I'm always gonna bet on myself. I don't care who's on the team. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss. I'm gonna be on the team too. I'm gonna find a way to be on the team on that roster. So, and that's what happened. They had guys there already from previous years, and they didn't know me because I wasn't even on the Chargers yet. But I was allocated by them, so it wasn't like I was somebody who knew who was coming. I'm still coming with a guy off tore ACL, played 1 year at Fresno State, 1 year at junior college, and he's coming off a tore ACL. Okay, so I had to flash, I had to show them, I had to be something, which was not a problem, and I did. Wind up making the team, made the cut to be able to lead the country and go to Europe and Amsterdam. Wind up having a great season over there to where once that season's over, when I come back home and have a month break before I go to Chargers camp, when I get there, they knew who I am. coaches coming up to me like, yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you. Like special team coach was on me because I bust my tail on special teams. I was playing receiver, kickoff return, punt return. Whether I was on punt block, I blocked the punt in Amsterdam. I returned punts, I did kickoff coverage. It didn't matter. Field goal block, it was football. It was an opportunity to play again, especially being out after tearing my ACL and not knowing if I was going to ever play again. I didn't care what form of football it was and what positions, because in Pop Warner I played everything. So it was like, I'll be on kickoff, I'll be on kickoff return, I'll be on punt block, I'll do everything, all the football stuff, and I'll be an offensive weapon at the same time. And that actually gave me something that was different than all other players. I mean, to play receiver in a game, to be a gunner on punt, to be a punt returner, to be a guy on kickoff coverage going to make tackles all in one game. I did that from NFL year through the rest of my professional career, through the Chargers. When I played in the CFL, I played arena football. That became what I did. I was a receiver / everything on the special teams.
Wow, man.
So I would have catches and tackles in every game.
So real quick, Coach, I mean, from Victoria Park to the San Diego Chargers, who I'm a big fan of since 1980, one of your teammates, Phil Uranza, Phil. He's a big Eagles fan. In his lifetime, he saw his team win a championship. I'm still waiting in my lifetime to see it. But, I mean, just really quick, I'm getting chills about it now because I've never had that experience.
Right.
Coming from that Victoria Park, I know you sat in the room talking with the guys like, one day I'm being lit.
That's right.
How did that feel for you once getting in? Getting that call, man. And just
Well, the difference was I didn't get the call. It was like being told we're a Charger and we're going to fax your contract tomorrow.
Right.
So, so I'm going to fax it to El Camino College. So I go home, I don't even tell my mom because it's still surreal. And I'm like, I don't want to, if it's not, it didn't happen, I don't know. I don't want to just get her hyped up for nothing. So when I barely sleep that night, when I get to school the next day, the fax comes through and somehow the players found out. So now I know because they're acting, when they see me, they're like, Coach, they're acting weird, like extra excited. I'm like, what? They're like, Coach, hugging me, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's for real, And my head coach like, yeah, you got to go in the office. The contract's in there. And I go in there, and the school counselors in there, they're all acting crazy because this has never happened. Like a contract for NFL being faxed to the junior college, so it got around the whole school. So everyone's like, wow, Tario's about to go to the NFL. Like it's
blessings, man.
Yeah, so for that to happen and then to really get there and to see dudes like Junior Seau, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow. I mean, Jim Everett was on my team my rookie year, and he was with the Rams, and I was one of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
I mean, and just Phil Humphreys, I mean, Stan Humphreys, quarterback. Great dude. Actually retired my second year, but to play with him and to get those guys respect before they retire, to throw you the ball or say good things about you, to hear it from them and to get the respect from Junior Seau and for him to tell you that you're one of the toughest guys in the league, from him to tell you that, from going against you in practice, from seeing you play, man, that gives me chills right now. He was like one of the main guys that would come to me on the sideline for just imagine we're about to kick off. He comes to me like, we need a tackle from you. He would come to me every time and tell me, we need a tackle from you. Like, go make the tackle. And I'm like, all right, punt, go make the tackle, Latario. Go make the tackle, Latario. Okay, I'm gonna make them like, man, they're like, no, it made me realize this is a starting position. Like, it's a second string to punt too. The second string to kickoff return. All this is a start position, and when it's at that level, they're not just putting pieces or second string dudes out there. You're starting DBs if they have to. Starting. So it's like the best tacklers, the best blockers, all that kind of stuff is on there. So I was on all of them to be on that level and be all of them on that level and get that respect from your teammates, man. Not be one of the biggest dudes. Break your form your rookie year after third game and you only miss one game everybody's telling me, you're going to miss 3 months. Like, this is a 3-month injury, and it was. And I watched one game, and I convinced our trainers that I could play with a soft cast. Like, you can make me a soft cast, I can play. Like, are you serious?
Man, a beautiful experience to be with my childhood fans, team, and I think that's cool. So tell me, Coach, like, what's life been like, after the lights, after the NFL, after that experience?
Man, afterwards it was this stand in shape, and then that reason, because a lot of my ex-teammates were telling me what they weren't going to do once they retired, like they were going to sit on their butt. So I seen guys putting like 100 pounds extra than they played, so I was like, I'm gonna always stay in shape. And then got into coaching, which I do now, and haven't stopped it. Well, I actually did my first year at El Camino once. I tore myself when I coached Coach Fresno, but to really say I'm gonna coach, started coaching at Chadwick School in Palos Verdes, and there for 7-8 years, and that got me into my training career, because I started training our players and developing them, and it was something I loved. I couldn't get away from football. It's my passion. I still have the energy for it. I still feel like I could play if I had to, so I had to be around it. And my thing was, I can't go backwards, so I wanted to give back, and I wanted to give all the information that I learned on my journey that I didn't have at their age, and I want to make sure that, man, if they have it at a younger age and have it at a longer time, they're a little better than I did and know more than me. So I'm like, I'm gonna be the informer for them, from my experience and what I learned, and pour it into them, work ethic, and be that living proof in front of them, as I'm asking them to do it too as well. So I'm loving this more than playing.
So what's the most rewarding and valuable part of you coaching versus all the other things?
Man, just the love, and being in these kids' life and having a small part of it, and just honored to be in their lives, man. Have opportunity to help guide them in a way, and be in a position where they have an extra person to lean on, for advice or whatever, or to always know that, or to hear that they love, that somebody loves them. I always let my kids, any kid that's involved with me, around me, that I meet, I always let them know I love them, and it's true, and to be there for them. So to have the opportunity to be there for them, that I can't beat that. So people always ask me, why don't I go up and coach? And I'm like, I'm here for the kids, man. I want to get them before they get there. I feel like if I can get them then I know they're all right once they get up there. But I can't wait till they get up here. I can, but I'm not. I want to get them, so I'm going to send them up right. I want to send them up right.
So you pretty much train all levels, at like from whatever grades all the way to from college, past college, professionals and things like that?
Man, from Little League all the way through college. Like, I just had my 2 freshman All-American soccer girls. One at USC, one at Brown University. They're on spring break to come back and train. So it doesn't even stop. It's like I tell them, you have me for life. Not that I have you for life. Once you with me, you have me for life. So you can always call me if you feel like you need somebody to train with. And yeah, I'm still working out. Yeah, I still train kids. That's what I do, and that's what my job is. And to make sure you guys are prepared, and when you come back, have that, on that break, so you can go back, if not in the same shape, but or in better shape, not worse shape. So didn't have that when I was playing. Come home, I just had to figure it out, or get with my buddies and try to work out. And it's nothing like kids coming to a workout that's 3 hours planned already for what they're gonna do. So,
well, beautiful, Coach, man. Just want to say thank you for your time. Blessings, humble that you're here, sitting down with us right now. And just before we go, just anything up from the top of your head that you'd like to tell our viewers, and any kids, or whatever message you want to put out.
Always live humble, work hard, love, care, and share it with others. It'll help the world out. Each one teach one. That's what I love, and I'm always learning, and always loving to share. And I call it fellowship. So let's fellowship more and love each other.